Okay, so for the agenda for today is we're going to talk about the hidden job market. We're going to go into a bit of detail regarding how you can penetrate the hidden job market. We're going to talk about strategies to grow your network. We're going to discuss cold messaging or cold calling 101. And then if you have any questions at the end or in between, just let us know. Glenn's going to check the chat, but you can also just put your hand up as well or unmute yourself too. Just let us know. Okay, so hidden job market. You can go ahead there, Glenn.
That's me. Yeah, so we're going to talk about the hidden job markets and a few interesting things. And so when we talk about the hidden job market, it doesn't necessarily mean it literal in the literal sense that it's hidden, you can't find it. It means that basically that the jobs are out there, but you gotta kind of network your way in. Um, it's very complicated to talk about. I've been in the field for a long time. Um, and hidden means really hidden in a lot of ways because they're just very hard to find. So it's kind of networking. And we'll talk about that a little bit now. This is a good thing. Have you ever heard the saying 6 degrees of separation? Means that there's only 6 people from you to everybody in the world. So say I wanted to talk to Barack Obama. So then I know somebody. I know a few people. So I talk to those people. And then those people know other people. And then those people know other people. So before the sixth person or the sixth level, eventually somebody will know Barack Obama directly. So it's interesting to think about in that way. So you're not very far away from the hiring manager of every organization. So it's kind of how you stretch it, right? And that's just one way. That's a theory. I wrote an article about it. You can read my article on LinkedIn, but it's kind of an interesting way to see things, right? That it may seem hidden, but there you just gotta find them. So it's get them before they're posted.
Oh, and I'm just sorry, Glenn. I'm just.
Oh yeah, can I go? I don't know if I can do it either.
It's okay. I got it. We're on the next slide.
Okay. So 85% of vacant positions are filled by somebody in the recruiter or hiring manager's network. That's what I say. It's like you're. So this is where LinkedIn comes in. I think we're going to talk about that later a little bit. LinkedIn is an incredible way to kind of network. Accessing the hidden job market is about uncovering unadvertised jobs and getting first in line for advertised jobs, right? So if you can get in before they post it, sometimes it's easier than because they say, oh, I know the perfect person. Before something comes available, I already talked to John down the street. John's the perfect match for this job. This is where you got to talk to people all the time. Not necessarily do you have a job available, but it's kind of like, oh, it's kind of conversation. And we'll talk about that in networking and how you network your way to a job today. But definitely you got to think about getting those connections and who you connect with that connects to the right person. So networking is very, very important. And this is what this session's about, right? How a lot of the things you don't see on are not necessarily advertised. So working your way into getting there is tricky, but it makes your life a lot easier. And there's some tactics we'll talk about too that will make your life a lot easier. Maybe I'll talk about informational interviews eventually. Yeah, so networking should be a core focus of your job search, definitely. One of the things that will drive you insane and it's just not healthy is just continuously applying to jobs you see over and over and over and over and over again. because it's just going to drive you, it's just gonna, it's not very good for you. So just don't sit home applying to jobs, writing resumes, writing cover letters. I say you got to get out there, you got to talk to people, you got to let them know you're looking for a job, you got to have a good resume. And then network your way into getting a good job. I'll talk about some tactics as well as we move on here, and some of the things you can do. Um, one of the things I recommend is having an incredible resume, because that will get focused on you and your network will talk to you as well. But having an incredible resume is one of the very first things you can do for networking. Sounds unusual, but having a great resume will put your eyes on the resume and will get them to happily hire you.
Yeah, so definitely spending a lot of time, investing the time networking is really important so that they think of you top of mind. Yeah, as Glenn said too, having a stellar resume will make sure that you're top of mind as well. So very good points there.
Also, strategies to grow your networks. You have to expand your network since you've moved to Canada, or how have you? Yeah, so has anybody here done anything to expand their network in Canada? I'm sure you have, right? So give me some examples of how you've expanded your network since you've moved to Canada. Any examples?
They're probably in ways you haven't even thought of either, to be honest. Just like socializing and interacting with people in your courses and professors and all that sort of communication styles, that's really good for networking as well. So we got someone in the chat,
And
tried to reach
LinkedIn?
out to people on LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, perfect way. Yeah, that's a great way. I hope everybody here knows about LinkedIn. It's a great way to expand your network. Um, yeah, like even like if you go to your coffee shop and you get to know the people there, the baristas, the people serving you coffee, that's the way you network, talk to them, get them to know your name, get to know their name. Eventually you build a rapport over time, and you never know who they know, right? I'll tell you an interesting example. I was running a program uh, at the CNIB. I was minding, or I was helping run this program for university-bound college students. And I was working with probably 10. And one of these clients I had to help out a lot, so I gave him a lot of support. And so when we were in the building, we were in this old building, CNIB building that was being torn down. So it was not the best building to be in. And so anyway, I helped my client out and brought him up, and his father came in his car, and just a regular car. And he said, oh, why are you in this building? You can come and use my building anytime you want. I said, oh yeah, sure. No, I love all the help you're giving my son. You're doing such a great job. That's awesome. And he handed my card, and it was the vice president of TD Bank. So it shows you don't know who you talk to. And he's like, come down to TD Bank, you can have a whole tower, I can give you any room you want. So that shows you never know who you talk to and what position they hold, right?
That's a great point. I've been told the same thing as well. Don't underestimate anyone's leverage or connection. So even if you don't think they're in a really big position, they could have connections like Glenn was saying that you never really know they had. So it's a great points. Okay, so some of our other networking tips that we have are part-time jobs or internships. So it's just a great way to start getting to know people as well. Even if it's not exactly your field, they could be connected to other people as well. Volunteering is another great way to grow your network. Sometimes people don't think about volunteering or like to hear volunteering because they hear like, free work, but it's actually an investment for sure. I believe about 20 or 30% of people with volunteer experience on their LinkedIn profiles get hired over ones that do not. So like it's a really big deal for sure. I also think of it as a creating your own placement type thing. So if you don't have a placement already with your school or whatnot, this is kind of a way you could start or make your own and get some Canadian experience as well. So I find volunteering is good for cold calling and sending out resumes and things like that. So you don't have to, you get some practice and you don't have to worry too much about if you make a mistake or whatnot, it's not as penalizing. So that's another great way to start as well. LinkedIn groups. So different career groups are available on LinkedIn. I'm going to show you my profile later. We're going to scroll down and I'll actually show you where the groups are, as well as where the groups are on other people's LinkedIn profiles. So you can see, if you don't know what groups to join, you can see what kind of groups other people are in as well. Joining professional affiliations is very similar as well. So yeah, we're going to touch on that too. Oops. Okay, so getting involved in clubs and organizations on campus is a good idea. I saw on Glenn's profile about his cultural anthropology background, and I believe he was one of the founders of his club. So that's a really good thing to put on your resume, and it shows initiative as well. So that's just something that you might want to think about. Professors and support staff, so just reaching out to even administrators, career advisors, things like that, are really good to just have on your LinkedIn profile too, because you never know who they are connected with as well. Participating in competitions, so like world skills competition, hackathons, you'll find that more in like engineering and things like that as well. But there could be different opportunities that you unveil if you go in Google and actually take a look for them too. Attending networking events like these, workshops like this, job fairs and social events is a really good way as well to grow your network. Okay, so Glenn's going to talk a little bit about cold calling now. So that's just contacting someone you don't know and who isn't expecting a message from you.
Yeah, so I guess one of the strategies, we'll talk about that on how to approach cold messaging. I guess now it's more messaging than calling. It used to be calling back in the day. Back in the day, there was a thing called Scott's Directory, and it was basically all the companies in Canada. So what you do is you go to the library, you list off all the marketing companies, and then you find out who is in charge of marketing hiring, and you phone them directly. That isn't the case anymore. Now we have messaging, which is great because LinkedIn, like I say, if you're not on LinkedIn, you get on LinkedIn. And then, yeah, we can approach it from that angle now. That's really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the first things first, you need to basically set a plan. Make a list who you're going to connect with, and this you definitely need to do your homework here. I would when I connect with somebody, it's because I'm interested in their background, and interested in their organization as a whole. I'm always discovering people. Um, it never stops. Networking never stops all day long. Oh, I think I look at so many profiles of people and link into them and try to get connected with them. Doesn't necessarily mean they'll connect with you, but at least try. So find their contact information. How would they like to be? How would they like to be contacting them? Um, and that's where LinkedIn comes in. So when you request to join, connect with somebody, always write a message. That's going to get you a lot more success than not writing a message. And I think they did a study and it's a lot higher. One of the things I do badly is just connect. Don't do that. Don't do what I do. If you really want to connect, and that's what I do. If I really want to connect with, I'll learn about them, learn about what they posted, follow them. Then if you see that they posted something, always write a really interesting comment about what they posted, because there's nothing better than you participating in what they said. I post a lot, nobody says anything, and it makes me frustrated. But anybody who says anything, oh, I love them. And I'm like, oh, I want to be connected with you right away. If I can help you or do anything, I'll keep you front and center in my mind, right? So that's one of the best things you can do is keep people front and center of who you are. Always give a great comment. Set a timeline. When will you be done this by? I guess this is like setting your own personal thing, right? Like, how many people do you want to get connected with, and what timeline? Do you want to connect with them? I think it's very important you do that.
It's a good way to measure success for sure. And once you've tried one set of people that you want to reach out to, you can move on to the next, and keeping track is really important as well. So setting timelines will help with that too.
Yeah, so understanding the goal, we haven't moved the slides down, but I'll go away. Increase your chances of getting a reply. Okay, that's what I kind of said. Understanding the goal that your first message should not be a reply, not a job offer. It's never about getting a job. It's always about just getting to know them. That's the main focus you should be focused on, getting to know them. So craft is short and sweet, about 60 words, a customized message. Don't make it too long because people don't have time to read it. They're, "Oh, okay, connect with me. Okay, good, good. No problem. Be connected and move on." Include a comment about something you find interesting in their profile. That's what I said. Make sure you do the research. And how does it connect with you? What is something that connects with you that they've done? So get a connection there, very important. Be clear about why you are messaging. Ask for one thing, not multiple things. Like you say, sometimes I get messages and it's a deluge of all these things. Sometimes it's very simple. Just say, "Oh, I would want to get connected with you because I find what you're doing very interesting, and this is the same field I have. So let's get connected and possibly do more networking in the future." This is where you wait a little while. You probably message them back in a few months. "Oh, I found this very interesting, and I thought you would too." Or, "Oh, you have time to have a conversation or a quick meeting." So it's a good way to break the ice kind of thing and get more involved. One thing I can definitely say is LinkedIn is not utilized enough. Um, Not at all. It's not necessarily utilized to its full potential. There's no doubt about that. You can even have a meeting within LinkedIn. You can actually have a video call with somebody. So I don't know why it's not used more often, but it's definitely something that you can have a quick meeting. So, "Oh, you want to go fire them up and have a quick, of course, be ready, right?" Um, but I find it's maybe not utilized enough.
Totally, I agree too. So we're gonna actually talk about reaching out and actually creating messages. So we're gonna actually go through a few. I think Glenn went over a lot of these. You can use the voicemail message on LinkedIn. I know one of our coworkers, Michelle, she loves to use that one. She likes the personal touch that it provides. Don't include attachments in your first message because they don't really know you yet. So you want to make sure that you're just reaching out and introducing yourself. Another one is to look for mutual connections. And I'm going to show you as well how to do that when we go to the LinkedIn profile section. Awesome. So we're going to play a game. We're going to have different messages, and we're going to see whether you think they're good messages or bad messages. And then we're going to go through why they're good or bad messages. So you can write your response in the chat, like yes, whether you agree it's a good message, or no, whether you don't agree that it's a good message. You can also put a heart for the like, that you think it's a good message. And you can also put the surprised face for the no. Okay, so whichever way you feel comfortable with. So we're going to get started here. Okay. Hello, ma'am. How are you? Do you think it's a good message or a bad message? You can use the emoji. You can feel free to put it in the chat. Okay, Rick. Okay, so I think we have one person thinking it's a good message, I believe, there. Anyone else?
Good message.
Yep, to reach out.
Yeah.
Anyone else? You can unmute yourself as well if you want. Okay, no worries.
I think it's not a good message.
Yeah, and why do you think it's not a good message, Thelma? Oh, that's okay. You don't need to. Thelma is actually correct. Oh yeah, you can go ahead, Thelma. Why do you think it's not a good message?
Sorry, you might hear background noise, but then I think for someone in a professional environment, I've heard people say that there's rather you state what you want to state, so they don't have to go back and forth with the message. They want to know if this message is important or if the person just needs if it's actually grabbing their attention to give them that, to create that time to have the conversation with you. So, hello, ma'am, how are you? Is not, I don't think it's good enough for me to meet someone for the first time via LinkedIn or via an online situation.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Thelma. So yeah, it's actually not a good message. It's for a lot of the reasons Thelma said too. So hello, ma'am is very generic. Like if someone reaches out to me and says, hello, ma'am, like I'm not going to read the message because they don't even address me by my name. So you want to make sure that you're actually taking the time to see who you're writing the message to. And how are you is very generic too. As Thelma said, like there's no reason like why you're reaching out to me or the person. So that's another reason why. But I can see why someone would think like, yes, this is a good message because it's very like, you know, it's a courtesy, right? Like it's one of those things that's generic, but that's the problem with it too, right? Is that it's generic. So you want it to be personalized, okay? And this will go on to the next one. So this one's kind of long. Says, hi, Kumar. I saw you joined Google a year ago. Sorry, I can't see that. How have you enjoyed your work environment? I'm working at the company. I'm starting a job search myself, and Google is one of the top companies on my list. But I always like to first ask firsthand about the environment at the company. Does anyone have any ideas about what they think of this message? I apologize for before, by the way, my screen gets muffled sometimes. So you can write it in the chat or you can unmute yourself. Good message. Awesome. Thank you, Thelma. Anyone else have any ideas? Oh, yeah. Thank you. I'm not sure if I'm saying this right. Basuda. Thank you. Thank you very much. So yes, this is a good message. And for some of the reasons Thelma said before as well. So hi, Kumar. So again, personalized. I saw you joined Google a year ago, so they know why you're reaching out to them. Have you enjoyed the work environment? So it's actually related. It's a context that makes sense, especially on LinkedIn. You don't want to say like, what kind of like interests do you have and things like that. It should be related to a job or occupation. I'm starting a job search myself, so it makes sense as to why that the person is reaching out to them, and always asking firsthand about the environment and the company. Again, why they're reaching out, so it's relevant and context. Anything else to add, Glenn?
No, I think it's it's pretty good. It's yeah, it's a it's a good message. Definitely, yeah, it's not common to get a good message. So yeah, take your notes on this one. Yeah, I don't mind. Like you say, what happens is you get a lot of go nonsensical stuff, and you don't really people are not to just come out and ask a question and stuff like that, but don't ask me a million questions about things. And you know but I think it's very good, and you can build a rapport with this one.
And it's to the point for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would take like note of the ones that we're saying are good too, so that you can craft something, maybe not exactly the same, obviously, but similar for sure. Thanks, Glenn. Okay, so this is the next one. Hi, Gloria. I am currently looking for a job with your organization. Kindly look at my attached resume and tell me what I should improve. Thank you.
Uh,
What does everyone? Yeah, Thelma, there you go.
that was right on the ball.
Oh my God.
What? Yeah, exactly.
Yes, Fasuda, that's definitely a good answer as well. It's bad. Not quite there. Yeah, so Thelma and Fasuda are correct. It is not a good message. And we'll tell you why right now. So the Hi Gloria is great, right? Because it's personalized. So at least it's addressing the person that you want to see, and it's not a generic ma'am, right? I am currently looking for a job with your organization. That's not a terrible thing to say at all. The problem we have here is kindly look at my attached resume and tell me what I should improve. So you don't really know Gloria, you're just reaching out to her for the first time. You want to make sure that you're to the point and you're working on networking as opposed to having them help you with something. So basically when it says, look at my attached resume, that's not really their job. It's actually Glenn and I's job. So it's a career counselor's job to do that, not the person that's recruiting you. So if you have any questions about that, definitely reach out to an employment counselor and not the person you're trying to network with.
Yeah, they really don't know. I mean, they really wouldn't know anything about resume writing. And they
True.
really wouldn't give you proper feedback. They would tell you what they would like to see or whatever, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the proper thing to do, you know? What people's perception is of resume writing is not necessarily the correct way to write a resume. So uh asking friends and family what they think, they really don't know any better. So, because they're not in the field, right? As we're, me and Laura, we know exactly. I've seen thousands and thousands of resumes. So I can tell you why it's no good. And I can tell you that and how to improve it and why. For me, I can tell you why it's no good. I'll be like, okay, there's too much white space, or the design is off, or the font is not right. And it's because I've looked at so many. But has Gloria looked at many? Probably not, So she probably looked at 20 in her life or something. So she sees, oh, go, that's a great result. As where I'd be like, no, and here's how you can improve on your resume, right?
Exactly. And Glenn and I have looked at resumes from a number of different industries as well. Gloria's probably looked at just the ones that her industry is specific to. So that's also why it's good to have a career counselor look at your resume as opposed to someone you're trying to network with. Okay, and I believe this is the last one. So, hi Juan, I loved the article you shared on benefits and compensation best practices for 2022 last week. I just completed my degree in business administration, human resources, and I'm considering following a career path similar to yours. Is focusing on compensation something you would recommend for someone just beginning their career in HR this year? Okay, what does everyone think? Yes. Yeah, there we go. Yes, thanks Petra too for chiming in. You're all absolutely correct. It's a great one. So you address the person right away. So it's not a generic ma'am or sir. As Glenn was saying too, like you're actually reading an article or showing interest in their profession or what they've done so far, which is great. So they have a reason that they'd want to talk to you or expand more based on their experiences. And it's good that the context here is I just completed my degree in business administration, so they understand why you're reaching out to them as well. Letting them know that you're considering a similar path makes it relevant too. Focusing on compensation or something you would recommend. So that's a great way to also start the conversation, to start networking as well. And even if you wanted to inquire about an informational interview, which is a good way to network as well. So this is a really good one for sure. Glenn, did you have any other suggestions by any chance?
No, I think is the one to follow.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Perfect. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm just trying to see how I improve. Maybe make it a little shorter. um, but it's definitely you don't get these commonly. So yeah, you want to stand out in the crowd. So something you should use is something like this.
So it is in the 60-word limit too. So that's good too. But as Glenn was saying as well, sometimes when you're just reaching out, making it short and sweet and just concentrating on that to begin with is something good as well. But this is definitely a way to start the conversation too. Okay. So we're going to jump over to my LinkedIn account and I'm going to show you some things that I think will help with the networking. Okay, can everyone see that? Oh. Glenn, you can see that, right?
Yeah, yeah, we can see, yeah, perfect.
Awesome. Okay, so when you log into LinkedIn, your profile, this is something that you're going to see. So it's just going to be the news feed to begin with. So one of the first things you can do, if you know who you want to reach out to, is going up to the search bar. So just right here on the top left and typing in the person's name, which is easy. So I'm going to type in one of our other career counselors, Keelan Stucci. So click on her. Perfect. And then you want to click on her name. So you want to see her profile too, because it's also good just to check to make sure that the profiles are relevant to that when you're reaching out to someone and wanting to network. So I'm looking at her title, Career Success Specialist. It's very relevant to the position. One of the things too will come back as well, but it's going to be, I'm not sure if everyone can see right under her 500 plus connections. We're going to click this, the 287 other mutual connections, just to look at her other ones as well. But I just wanted to show you when you're making your LinkedIn profile, which will help with your networking inevitably, look at other people's profiles as well that you think are good and kind of use them as inspiration. So Keelan's is always really good. So you can actually look at her about section and things like that, and the way she's worded things. So you don't want it to be exactly the same, but if you want some inspiration or you're a little bit stuck, this is another way to get started as well. So when you scroll down to the bottom, it'll go past the education. If you're wondering what kind of certifications you should get to for your profession, licenses and certifications under people that you network with is a great way to see what you can do to improve your chances with the company for sure. The skills section, you have up to 50 skills that you can add. We suggest adding 50 skills or at least close to that. So Keelan has a few. If I, let's say, didn't know what skills to add for my profession, since Keelan and I are in the same profession and she has a lot of great skills, I would see what she's put. So just to get an idea for sure. And then you scroll down to the bottom. She's got recommendations, but what I want to show you is right here where it says interests. So just at the bottom here, you'll see companies. So you can add companies of interest to you. So let's say you're interested in getting a job like as a human resources professional at Walmart. You would want to click companies and you would want to add Walmart, because if you add a company to your LinkedIn profile, they're going to be like 10 times more likely to look at it as opposed to if you don't. Groups, you can see what kind of relevant groups that the networking person is in. So I would want to make sure that I have groups similar to Keelan. And that's one of the main things for networking as well that we suggest. And that's one of the things I really wanted to draw your attention to for this. So definitely scroll down when you know who to reach out to and get some inspiration. So I'm just going to scroll back up to the top. Okay, so right under these 500 connections, I'm going to click on the relevant connections that we have. If you don't have any relevant connections with the person, you can always click on the 500 plus connections. But since we have so many connections, I'm just going to click on it. So it's going to come up. Perfect. Okay, so at the top where you see people here, you're going to see first. And so these are the people that Keelan and I are already connected to on a first networking basis. So we're both connected equally to them. So if you click that first button, you will see that there's also a second and a third plus. So what you want to do is actually click on the second and third.
Hello.
My internet connection's a little bit lower, but here we go. So just click show results and then it comes up. So all the people that I could be interested in connecting with that she's already connected with that I'm not is what I can do here. So if I wanted to connect with someone, you just click the connect button. As Glenn said, you always send a message And something similar to what we talked about before during that game is what you're going to want to send. So anything like that is good. I'm also going to show you another part. So Michelle, one of our other career professionals, always talks about this one. So if you go up to the search tab wherever you are, type in the school that you go to or that you're interested in. So I went to Conestoga College, so I'm just going to type in Conestoga College, and you'll see it comes up here. You want to make sure it says school. So Conestoga College School, CA for Canada. So I'm going to click that. Perfect. So I'm going to click the school as well. So I know that there are 9 connections that I know that work here. I'm going to click it. And then this is where you can start filtering things. So once you do that, you're just going to go to the alumni tab, just right here. So it's just at the top. And then you can start filtering. So you can start searching by alumni or titles or keywords. I suggest just using the title that you're interested in. So like for me, like human resources or career development would be one. So I'm just going to type in human resources. You can also adjust the years. I'm just leaving it wide open. So it can be good because you don't want to rule out anyone that has extra experience or that's a little bit older as well, just to give you some ideas. It's always just a good idea to network with anyone you can because they might know someone as well who's still in the industry. So if you scroll down, you can see some suggestions will come up. And you can just scroll down as long as you want. They're going to come up with a lot of ones, and you can see who you would like to reach out to. So you'll connect with them if you want to reach out to them and send a message similar to what we talked about. Okay. And then there's just one more feature I wanted to show you. Perfect. So you can be anywhere on LinkedIn. It doesn't matter what tabs or things are open. Go up to the top. Right beside home, it says My Network. Okay, so you're going to click on My Network. This is a great way to network as well. It's just easy. So immediately I already have suggestions. So I was talking about being an employment counselor for people with disabilities. So I follow someone who's an avid person that does a lot of work in that area. So all of her suggestions come up too because I'm following her. So people who also follow this person are here as well, so I can network with them if I want to. I want to make sure they're also like in the same general probably province and stuff like that. You want to make sure they're in the same area. They don't always have to be. So I do have people from the States as well, but generally you want to make sure that they're in the similar area. So you can just keep scrolling down. So you have other events that are available to you and you just keep going down. It'll say other suggestions. So people in the profession that you may know, they all come up. And there's tons of them. So you can always just click connect to someone who you think you'd like to reach out to, and then send a message similar to the one we discussed. So that is the LinkedIn profile. And we're just going to jump back to, sorry, I'll just take 1 minute. Sorry, there's never an easy way to do this, but
Yeah, it doesn't like to be switched around at all.
no. Are we back, Glenn? Did that work?
No, I don't see it yet.
Okay. How about now?
Nope, nope.
Okay. Okay, I think this is gonna work here. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Did that work, Glenn?
Yeah, it works. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're almost near the end. And we're actually ready to start answering any questions that you have too. If you have any, we do have 15 minutes. So if you have any questions about networking, how to send a message, feel free to ask us about that as well. There aren't very many people here today. So if you have any questions just regarding career development too, Glenn and I could answer them as well. We might just jump over to some of the promotional things first, and then Glenn and I will be at the back here just to answer any questions as well.
Yeah, we can do that. I'll just run over some things here that we can definitely take advantage of with Devant. The one-on-one coaching, you can have me or Laura there. She can definitely help you out. A LinkedIn audit, I think, is definitely good. Done a lot of those and helped a lot of people, and LinkedIn audit resume and cover letter writing as well. Like I say, you need to have a great resume, I think, to get noticed, and it'll help your job search a lot better. And I know your school probably offering that through Devant, so they definitely take advantage of that. So get your documents written by a professional so that they communicate your skills and experience to the Canadian employers. Employer that is definitely done different in Canada than anywhere else, even from America. It's a lot different. Yeah, so these are upcoming events. Next week, actually, we have a career cafe, virtual social with career coaches. So that's very interesting. If you've never come to that, definitely come, and we can talk about anything that's on your mind and help you out. The immigration question and answer with immigration lawyers, I'll definitely take advantage of that too. Very good. Transitioning to Canada, you want all the free advice you can get, and having a Canadian immigration lawyer is amazing. They can tell you all the do's and don'ts. So very, very good. And then May the 3rd, we have expert panel careers and sales. Sales is getting very hot right now in Canada. And there's a lot more jobs happening right now, and a lot less people seem to be entering into sales, I find. So this is a big field coming up, and you can make a lot of money. So definitely think about attending that, even for your curiosity. I think it's good to attend. May the 10th workshop, revamp your resume. Yeah, that's definitely one you need to attend. I always promote resume writing all the time, so definitely get involved in that.
Perfect. Yep. So I'm just going to go back to our questions thing. If no one has questions right off the bat, that's okay. Glenn and I are just going to keep talking about networking. So basically, one of the most effective ways. Oh, perfect. Petra, did you want to unmute yourself? Yeah, perfect.
Yes. Hi, sorry. I have a question actually regarding the LinkedIn. So because I'm actually working full time in non-profit sector, and I'm actually started to study interior design, and I want to develop network for that part of the world. How should I start with my LinkedIn? Should I update it like I'm a student, or should I leave there what I'm working, or how does it work?
That's a great question. So I put, when I was a student, as a career development professional, I put aspiring career development professional student. So that's always something you can do too. What you discussed as well could be relevant if it's relevant to the industry though. So you don't want to say like sales associate if you're looking for something in a business aspect that's not related to sales. Glenn, what did you think?
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, everybody has to start somewhere, so don't feel like you're losing out at all, right? and there's a lot of people in the same situation as you, so networking with them is very, very important in doing that. Yeah, so you like I find too, you never know where you end up. Just because you're going down one road doesn't necessarily mean you won't go down another road. And you probably find that as well, right? So yeah, so think about that. You can go down both roads, and the sector that if you're working in that, you never know what the people that come across that may want interior design too, right? So
Mhm.
you know
Yeah. And in regards of a LinkedIn profile,
Mhm.
should my profile be like from the field I'm working, or should I update that as a student in interior design?
Yeah, so what I would do is definitely gear it toward the field that you want to go into. But it's not like a terrible thing to say something like if you have like experience in another area, you can also write like, for instance, if I wanted to be a teacher, but I had experience as like a teaching assistant or anything like that, like I would put aspiring teacher with experience working in schools. So
Okay.
yeah, so if you can like add a little bit of what you already have, just to kind of bump it up. So any sort of like experience that you have too, just be like you can add that as well, but definitely gear it towards what you're going towards. So even if you have to write like aspiring person or student in this field, definitely do that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
yeah,
You're welcome.
all your bullets can be like the bullets that you put in under your job, you can frame them around something in interior design too. So don't feel that you need to stick with, your job title is your job title, definitely, but there are things that you do within your job that you would do, in interior design. So focus your bullets, kind of orient them in that way,
So the sorry, what names? The transferable skills.
yeah,
That's what I'm trying.
yeah.
So, for instance, Petra, I worked a lot in customer service, which is kind of obviously different from career development and working with like people in the one sense, but also just saying like I have these excellent communication skills because I've had 6 years of customer service experience. That's actually one of my bullet points on my resumes. So if you can transfer it or like support it with what you're going into as much as possible, that's what I'd recommend. So time management skills, like things like that, you can always like put in your LinkedIn profile and they're always relatable and transferable. So anything like that, but you want to do your best to kind of relate it to the industry that you're going into. So for instance, for customer service, I wouldn't say anything about necessarily sales specifically, like, oh, I got 40% more sales, but I would say I had a lot of strong interpersonal communication skills with the person, with the client or the person that I was cashing out or working with. So you just want to try to relate it back as much as you can.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So another way to grow your network too that I wanted just to mention is class lists. So if you're in school right now, I know I'm always taking courses. I actually go to the class list on Blackboard or Avenue to Learn or whatever the profile is that you go and get your information from. And I look for the class list and I actually see who I can add. And I'll just type their names and write into the search bar as well if they have LinkedIn profiles. So some people do not, and that's okay. But I do take the time to do that. It's just a good way to grow your network with people that are already in your field, for sure. Glenn, did you have any other ideas about networking?
Um, um, yeah, like you say, you gotta get out, like anything that you can go to, if there's any talks or presentations, I think is very good. So you need to get out there, right? And network and meet people out of, computer space. So it's good to meet a live person. And I can give you a good example of that. When I was a recruiter, everybody that came across everybody I saw in person always got a job. The reason why is because I remember those individuals. So when they handed me a resume for the job, then, you know, I remembered them, and I always had an attachment. And I always say this, we're only human, we're all human beings. So the human touch is important. Even if you say, "Oh, just dropping my resume off, I'll do it electronically as well. I just wanted to come by because I was in the area." Blah, blah, blah. You know, little crafty thing. I used to do it, and I got a lot of good responses from that. It's kind of tricky, but it paid dividends, let me tell you, it pays dividends.
Exactly. So yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you another example. I was handing out resumes doing this because not a lot of people did it. I remember I was in Richmond Hill and I was going to Beaver Creek Park, I think it's called. There's an industrial area. And I was handing out resumes physically. And I came across this guy and he was like just cleaning up the area. And I walked into it, and then there was no receptionist there. And he said, "Oh, what can I do for you?" And it looked like he was a janitor, whatever, regular guy. And I gave him my resume. They said, "Oh, I'm just looking for a job in your company. If there's anything that comes up," and they were a marketing company, they did signage. They were a very big company. And I gave him my resume. So, "Oh, if anything comes up, or you can hand it to your HR or anything, it'd be great. Thank you so much for your time." And then I went back home and I had a phone call waiting for me. And I picked up the phone when you message on your phone. And I picked up the phone and I phoned and said, "Oh, coming for an interview." So I came in like a couple of days later. When I got there, I sat down with the vice president. And he said, "Do you know who you handed your resume to?" I said, "No, I had no idea." He said, "That was the president of the organization." So it shows you don't know who you're going to meet, and you don't know what power they have. That's another example I have that I come across in my life, where you just don't know who you give your resume to. And that got me an interview. I didn't get the job, unfortunately, but it shows you that you don't know who you're going to meet, and a good way to network, right?
For sure, absolutely. So you can also add like friends and family on your LinkedIn network. I would just hesitate. So if you have the same last name as someone else and they're giving you a recommendation, someone's going to notice that it's probably nepotism. So it'd be good if you could actually make sure that you're not getting like recommendations from someone who it seems are recommending you because you know them. But that's also another way to start as well. I actually put Glenn and myself's LinkedIn URLs in the chat. I also added the free PDF as well that you can download just to keep track of your networking needs and what you've done so far. Patrick, did you have another question by any chance, or is it just your hand that's still up? It's okay either way.
Sorry, no, it's just still there.
It's still up, no problem. No
Sorry.
problem. Oh no, not at all. I just wanted to make sure that we addressed everything for sure. Yes, so yeah, you can add Glenn and I to your network for sure. Anything like that is good. You can add each other to your network as well. So if you want to insert your URLs into the chat, that's a good idea as well, so that we can all network together. Glenn and I will definitely accept your request.
Yeah.
You can practice writing out a message to us as well if you would like.
Yeah, I want to see a good message, and I want to see your linking into me, because it's important. Because I think it's great, underutilized. Like I say, it's underutilized.
Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, anything like that is good. Connect with each other, connect with classmates, connect with profs, connect with career development professionals as well. Once you start growing your network wider, especially in regards to the groups and companies, you're going to notice that people start reaching out to you. So basically, all of a sudden, I've been getting a lot of requests to join different groups just because I've been connected to so many people. So one way to start getting into different groups and things like that also is by just networking a lot more. But as Glenn said, LinkedIn is a really good resource and way to do that. Now you just want to make sure that it's relevant to the profession and not like any sort of hobby or extracurricular type ordeals as well. So that's just something to keep in mind for sure. So we're actually just at 8 o'clock right now. So we're actually gonna end our session now. If you guys realize that you have burning questions after we've discussed this, there is a career cafe, I believe, next week. So if we didn't address something that you wanted to talk about, just jot it down and bring it up next week in the group. So I hope this session was helpful and you can start networking a little bit more. We really appreciate you coming and I hope you have a good night.